Welcome to another episode of Finding Doyin. On this channel, we talk about bettering yourself, being a better version of yourself. We talk about relationships and love. We talk about all the good stuff. Sometimes we have occasional gossips, we have some hot takes, but all in all, this channel will help you be a better version of yourself by questioning some of the stuff that have been normalized over the years. And also it helps you to think deeply about the relationships that you have, either romantic or otherwise. So if this is your first time on my channel, welcome. I welcome you, and I'm happy you decided to watch this video. I hope you stay to the end, and I hope you get a lot of value. And then you can like, you can share, you can subscribe, you can comment. I'll be really glad if you did that. If you're a returning subscriber, you already know how we do it on this channel, so there's no need to. But thank you for coming back. Thank you for always watching this content. Thank you for always pushing and sharing to your friends and families. I really appreciate it. In this video, we're going to be talking about building social capital. We're going to be talking about how I leveraged on social capital to get a high-paying job in the United States after my master's degree. If that is something you are interested in, then stick to the end of this video. You know we have to do our song now. So today's song is Ricardo Banks' Standard. Elmo don't have bread, but the need any banana. Everything I do is standard. Get will I carry standard. House when I buy is standard. We know they ever do substandard. That's a nice song. That's a song for today. So everything I do is standard. Everything you do is standard. So we need to raise the standard. Hey, it's in my right. If you stayed up till now, it means that you're feeling this channel. You want to just like, subscribe, share. Let me know what you feel in the comment section. And today's video is not going to be very long. I don't want it to be very long, so I'm going to jump right to the chase. I'm going to cut right to the chase, exactly. So today I said I'm going to be talking about how I built social capital and leveraged it to get a high-paying job in the United States of America. So for those of you that have been following this channel, you know I graduated in May, on May 13th of this year. I came to the United States in 2019, and I did my master's degree in information technology. And you know how it is now, how you start looking for jobs after like your master's or before your master's ends, your master's program ends, you start looking for jobs. But for me, it was very interesting. And that's why I decided to make this video, to be able to help somebody, to be able to help internationals, to be able to help residents, to be able to help people that believe like, okay, it might be very difficult. It's not easy, but there's a way you can do it. According to the data, before I describe what social capital is first. For me, social capital is the strength of your social relationships. It's the strength of the relationships you've been able to build, or you build with people that you've come in contact with. And based on this strength, you are able to leverage some of those relationships to get to the next phase of your life. So you might be, depending on the strength of the relationship, you might be able to call upon those relationships, and you might be able to get referrals. You might be able to get to the next place where you feel like you should be. According to data online, it says that estimates suggest that over 70% of all jobs are not published on publicly available job search sites. And research has long shown that anywhere from 50% up until 80% of jobs are filled through networking. So what is that saying? That is saying that most of the jobs, from 50% to 80% of all jobs, are not even advertised. So those jobs are gotten based on just your social capital, the social capital you have with somebody inside of that organization. I was talking to one of my friends recently, David, and he was telling me all the jobs he had gotten in the past were based on referrals. He had never applied to a job and actually gotten the job. Only this is current job that he applied and got. Most of the people that you know, they will tell you, in the professional sphere, most jobs are gotten through referrals. And that being said, this is why it's important for me to bring this to your notice and help you understand why building social capital is so important. According to the Oxford Dictionary, social capital is networks of relationships among people who live and work in a particular society, enabling that society to function properly. So the idea of referrals boils down to this: how to enable the society to function properly is basically you are not high value like Paul, not high value. You're a high functioning individual, a high functioning employee. Most of the time, the organization wants you to refer somebody that you also feel is very, very high functioning. They don't want to go through the risk of trying to hire somebody, then they find out that the person is actually not the right fit. So based upon you being a right fit, they depend on people, the employees, to refer some of the other people that they believe could be cultural fit. And that's why referrals are such a big thing. You think it's only in Nigeria that you have to know someone on the inside. No, even in the United States, you actually have to know somebody on the inside to get some jobs, because those jobs are gotten based on referrals. And those employees are even compensated for bringing the right culture fit to the organization. So let's skip that. Now we know what social capital is. Let's talk about how to build it and how to leverage it. So like every of my story, like this story begins with a love story. Believe it or not, the story of how I got my job is a love story. So my elder brother had a friend. You get me? He had a friend. That friend had a family friend. The family friend was a lady, and my brother's friend introduced his family friend to my brother, or my brother to his family friend. Don't know which happened first, But long story short, they got married. She's amazing. Her name is Doyin. Amazing individual, amazing person. She has an amazing personality. And she introduced me to this program called Brickline. Brickline is an amazing program. I'll be remiss to not talk about how amazing Brickline was for me in getting the job that I got. Brickline basically helps to pivot, if that's the word I'm going to use. It helps you to, it helps people who don't have necessarily a tech background to be able to get into the tech sphere. They have a lot of partner companies, and they introduce you to those that are partner companies. So yeah, my story begins with a love story. It begins with love and taking action. So she introduced me to this program. I was like, oh, I think this program will really benefit you as you're rounding up your program. I think you should apply to this program. What did I do with that information? So that's why I said it's love and taking action. An important part of building social capital is taking information that you get from someone and actually working on that information. So now Oyin tells me, oh, I think you should apply to this program. Based on the respect I have for her, I'll be like, okay, I think I'm going to apply. Do you get? So it shows the person that, oh, I gave you this advice and you actually took it to your own benefit. I didn't need to pay her for it. It was free. And based on that, I just feel for you to build a valuable social capital, you need to work, you need to build upon the information that is given to you in confidence, or if someone refers something to you, I think that it's necessary for you to take action. So the first thing I did, I went and I applied to the Brickline program. So that brings me to the second part of the story. The second story is actually about competence and likability. In the Brickline program, they always say that the reason why you're sitting in front of the interviewer is because you're competent enough. If you were not competent enough, you won't even have the chance to sit there in front of the interviewer. The only reason why you get past the interview is if you're seen as a culture fit. When I say culture fit, I mean you have the same core values with the organization, and you have the same competencies, metrics with the organization. As they say in the United States, are you the right culture fit? Are you the right fit? Are you the right gloves on the hand? Are you the right gloves on the hand? Do you get? So if they feel yeah, you're competent, they're going to interview a lot of competent people. But Brickline makes you to understand, and that's something I didn't even know before the Brickline program. They make you understand that there are two parts to getting a job: competence and likability. Does the interviewer like you? Sometimes the hiring manager likes you, they introduce you to the team. The team does the work from day to day, they do the day-to-day work. If they don't feel like you're a good team member, if they don't feel like you're going to be the right culture fit, or you're going to make their job easier, or you're going to be someone that is easy to relate with, most likely you're not going to get the job. You see many people, let me digress a little bit. You see many people, they're saying, oh, that I don't need anybody to do anything. I can do this thing by myself. I can live, I can survive. Basically, people say they can survive on their own. And my question to you is, how many people do you know, like in the top 1%, in the top 10%, that have come out to say, oh, I got here by myself, strictly by myself? It is impossible. But trust me, if you're going to grow professionally, this distance between you and your next job, your next step in life.
The distance between me and success now is just time. Not a long time, 1 millisecond.
Is through social capital, through building, whether it's a short period of time of the interview that you have or a lifelong friend of yours, it is important to build social capital. So yeah, the Breakline program tells you you have to be likable and you have to be competent. So I won't sit here and tell you, oh, I got the job and I was not even qualified for the job, and because I was able to relate with people, I just got the job. No, you have to be competent and you also have to be likable. Those are the two aspects that help you to be able to get into the next place you want to be. So for some of you, maybe you're lacking in the likability aspect. Some of you are very, very competent, but you're wondering why you cannot land a job. That might be the reason. And finding Doyin might just have helped you to land your next job. So when you get your next job, you send me some money. I'm just kidding. So yeah, the third point is, the third story is actually, I feel like, for me, I think everyone has different metrics. For me, is being vulnerable. So when I got, because like I said, Breakline has a lot of partner companies, and they introduced you to these partner companies. So I was introduced to the job I currently got. And the first stage of the interview was a coding test. For those of you that know me, you know I'm not a coding guy like that. Do you get? So, and it was Python and Java. So I was like, I told my contact at Breakline, I was like, oh yeah, I don't mind Python because I'm good in Python. I've done a lot of projects with Python. But Java is foreign to me because I've never done anything like that. And she was like, okay, you can just talk with the university recruiting manager. And then they posted the coding test and was like, oh, everyone go take the coding test, blah, blah, blah. And this ties back to being vulnerable. In building some social connections, you have to throw yourself at the mercy of the other person. You have to throw yourself. You have to be able to ask the difficult questions. I knew if I took the test the next day, I was going to fail it because I had no previous project experience. I had no previous experience with Java at all. So what did I do? I sent her an email. I was like, oh, excuse me, Vivian, I'm sorry, but I'm not really good with Java. I really even don't really know much about it. But I would appreciate if you could give me 2 weeks. If you could give me 2 weeks, I'm going to go and do my best and come back and take the coding test. That put me in a position because she didn't have to say yes. She didn't have to say no. It was her prerogative, and she replied. She was like, okay, that's totally fine. I think 2 weeks, I could give you 2 weeks to actually go prepare before you take the test. Many people, when you get this kind of interviews, you panic, and under the panic, you are not actually able to build any real relationship with the person. So now, for example, she's done me a favor. She's built some form of social capital with me. If I'm talking about her to someone, I'm like, oh my God, she's very, very nice. She's a nice person. She's this and that. I have positive things to say about her because I was able to ask her this difficult question, and because she was able to take a chance on me and actually give me some leeway to be able to do what I needed to do to get the job. Do you get? So for some people, you need to be able to ask. Yeah, I know like it might be a bit of pressure and you feel like, oh, other people might have done the test, or other people might take the test immediately and they might give them the job. But if you're not competent enough, if they don't feel like you're competent enough, you're never going to get the job in the first place. So you need to be competent and you need to be likable. So a part of being competent is actually being able to build that rapport, that relationship, even in the very early stages of your interviews, in the early stages of you communicating with the recruiting manager, the hiring manager, any of all those people. You need to be able to build a very, very solid, tangent, cogent relationship with these people. So it will help you to be able to actually get to the next stage that you need to be. So I asked her and she was like, oh yeah, take your 2 weeks and go prepare. I went, bought a course of Udemy, I did a lot of intensive day to day preparations. Excuse me. And then I took the coding test and I passed it. So I passed the coding test and I moved to the next level. You can see how building social capital helps you to get from the first stage, and now we're at the third stage. Can you see? Beautiful. So now I'm about to get my job, isn't it? That's interesting. So yeah, in the next phase, I titled it Building on the Capital, the Social Capital of Other People and Yourself. So now this story sets off with my my interview with the hiring manager. So the first stage of the interview was a coding test. Then the second stage was the phone interview. It's very, very popular in the United States. Sometimes the phone interview is first and the other interviews follow. But for this, it was the coding test. So if you fail the coding test, you are not even going nowhere. You are not going to get the job. You're not going to the next phase. So you have to be competent. So yeah, I passed that and I did the phone interview, which a little bit of the behavioral here and there. And okay, you know where the location of the job is, blah, 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 you know all that. And then moved to the third stage. The third stage was the hiring manager. And it was a Zoom call, it was a Zoom meeting, you know, because of everything that is going on with the pandemic and all. It was a Zoom meeting. And in that Zoom meeting, I was already there and I was already panicking. I was like, oh my God, what am I going to say? Like, I looked at his LinkedIn and I was like, oh my God, this guy has so much experience. And I'm like, what am I going to do? What am I going to say? I was panicking. And then I was like, okay, let me just calm down. Then I said a prayer and I was calm. And then he got on the call and he was like, oh, this is the, what's your name, your background? And I was like, oh, my name is Doyin, and I'm actually from Nigeria. And I was about to go and he was like, stop, wait, you from Nigeria? I was like, yes, I'm from Nigeria. And he was like, oh my God, that he knows someone. And big shout out to Adeniji. Wherever you are, if you ever come across this video, it was basically because of you that I got this job. Let me just put that out there. He was like, oh my God, I had a colleague back in the day. His name was Adeniji. And he's the most amazing person. He's this, and he had a lot of positive things to say about this Adeniji that I had never met. I had never heard the name. I didn't know, I had no idea who this man was. And immediately he said that, I felt very, very relaxed. I felt very, very comfortable. And it almost felt like I had a deeper relationship with the hiring manager instantly. And immediately, I took on the position of Adeniji in the way I was relating with him. And trust me, that interview was just like we were just talking to each other. We talked about my projects. We talked about a lot of stuff. Like, he liked me. I could tell he liked me, and I liked him. You could tell it was very, very mutual. And he was like, oh my God, after the call, he was like, oh my God, I really like you. I'm going to refer you to the next team. He referred me to his team, and I prepared as much as I could for that interview. And then after the interview, you have to do some LinkedIn scrubbing. You have to go follow these people on LinkedIn. You have to make sure like they see how competent you are. You can't be passive. If you apply to a job, you can't just be passive. You need to be making moves. You have to go follow them on LinkedIn, the managers. You have to follow the team members on LinkedIn. Keep an open line of communication. Get feedback and all of the professional technical stuff. You get me? So yeah. So after the interview, I was expecting, because the final interview, the final team interview, one of the team members was like, "Oh, I really like you. I would like to work with you." So I was like, "Oh my God, this guy likes me. Hey God, thank you." And I was really excited. And I didn't want to share testimony in fellowship. I want to see what's going on. And then I get an email like 3 weeks later. Oh my God, that was a very, very difficult decision, but we had to go with the other candidate. And immediately Vivian got back to me and said that, like, I couldn't even think. Trust me, I couldn't think. I was very, very depressed. I was frustrated. In the moment, I was frustrated. It was like my head was ringing. Wow, wow, wow. My head was ringing. I couldn't even hear what she was saying. And then she was like, oh, but I was like, okay. She was like, but the team liked you so much, and the hiring manager liked you so much, that they decided to refer you to another team within the company. Is that an opportunity? Is that something you would like to give a try? And for a moment, I didn't even respond. And I was like, yes. that's definitely something that is better than nothing. Trust me, it's better than not having anything. And I was like, yeah, that's something I would actually like to explore. And she was like, okay, good. And she was like, she's going to set me up with a meeting with the next team. Fast forward to today, that referral is actually the job starting on Monday, next week Monday. So I say all this to say, and okay, when I had an interview with the next hiring manager, I wore my Breakline hoodie. I wore my Breakline hoodie, and I was like, oh, he was like, oh, that you're from the Breakline program. I was like, yes, I'm from the Breakline program. He was like, oh, you can ask the Breakline program. I hire a lot of Breakline alums, and I also felt very comfortable with that, being that Breakline had built such a reputation with this manager, and they had like a lot of mutual connection. So some of the time, the relationship, the capital you're going to be building on, you weren't the one who even started that social relationship or that social capital. You were not the one who built it, but you can sure leverage on it if you have something in common. For example, Ade Adeniji had built a very, very good rapport with Al, who was the manager of the other team. He had built such a good relationship with that manager that I was able to leverage on the fact that I was Nigerian, and my name was also Ade. My name is Ade Doyin, but he was like, oh, he doesn't have the same name with you. He was like, he's going to be calling me Ade. So he calls me the same name he used to call the Ade Adeniji. So I felt like this, I already knew this man, and it felt like he already knew me because we shared the nationality Nigerian. Do you get? So sometimes the capital you're going to be building upon is not even your own like social capital. It's going to be someone else's, but you need to be able to take it. You need to be able to read the room. You need to be able to quickly be able to assume that position and build and keep building and leverage on that for your own, like for where you want to be. And then I was able to build enough likability and competence for, even though they rejected me, or even though they were not able to come to the conclusion that I was the right fit, they were able to refer me to another team which they believed I would be the right fit for. So that brings me to the end of this video. I hope you've been able to get value. So the very first point is that you need to be able to take action. So love and taking action. The second is you need to be competent and you need to be likable. The third point is that you need to be vulnerable. You need to be able to ask the difficult questions, to be able to get favor and get grace from other people. You won't always be in control of building. You won't always be the one giving in the social relationship. Sometimes you'll be the one taking. You need to be willing to take. You need to be willing to take, basically. And the fourth one is building on the capital of other people. You need to be able to build, you need to be able to leverage on the social capital that other people have built before you, and you need to be able to make that your own for you to get to the next phase of your life. It's not every time you meet with somebody that you should want to have a romantic relationship. You're going to run into a lot of problems. Trust me, you're going to run into a lot of problems if you want to be in a sexual relationship or a romantic relationship with every male or female that you get, like you meet. Like, you need to know some people might be in your life for the professional reason, your professional path. For example, you meet with somebody, you guys try to go the romantic path, it doesn't work, it turns into an ugly breakup, and now you can't even tell that person to refer you to a job. Some of you went to university for 4 or 5 years. When it was time to maybe go for your master's degree, you couldn't find a single professor to help you write a referral letter. That is really, really bad. You need to work on building social capital. You need to work on being likable. I'm not saying that be all over people and all, but it needs to be a conscious effort in building the social relationships and building enough social capital that you could actually leverage upon it. Some of you students, like maybe you're just graduating or you're still in school, work with your professors. Make sure your professors like you. Make sure your other colleagues like you. Make sure people can see him like, oh, I like this guy, like this is someone I can refer. Make sure you build a solid relationship with many people in your circle, with your professors, so that I can't emphasize this enough. I didn't want this video to be this long, but I hope you've gotten value, and I hope you go out there and build a lot of social capital. See you in the next video, and if you got value for this video, please like, share, subscribe. Let me know what you feel in the comment section, and let me know the kind of videos, any other video that you want to see from me. I'll really be open to making those. Thank you very much, and I wish you the best.